So we were looking at this workflow of how to access data using REST API services from Google. So API, we have already seen the video. So we look at this small workflow. So I was saying that there are three REST API services that the Google provides. One is the search service, and the second one is the video service, the third one the common thread service. So we will see the common thread service. We'll understand this first and move to the bigger workflow. So basically what it does is, if you send this particular request, this request requires a video ID and your API key, it'll send you the comments posted against the particular YouTube video. So we'll go to this workflow first, right? So I'll go here, quickly import the workflow from wherever it is there. I think, yeah, extract YouTube comments. Yeah, so that's already there. So what do you do here? So basically it requires some data. The table creator supplies certain data. So it requires, I'll just delete these. So basically it requires two data points. One is the video ID, and the second one is here API key. So I think you have generated the API key already. We just did that. So this is your API key. So you will have a different API key. So I will supply this value here. Okay, that's the first data point. The second data point is your video ID. So video ID is nothing but, if you say search for some video here, so any video, it could be CNN news. So yeah, let's look at this news. So for this particular news, the video, your you video ID is basically anything that appears after this equal to in the URL, right? So watch question mark v equal to some number. So that is your video ID, and we will paste that video ID. You can paste multiple, but we will, for this we will have just one and see whether it works, right? So apply and OK. So you run it, and inside there is a meta node here. Inside it, what happens is, if you expand it, so there is a string manipulation and there is a get request node. These are the main nodes actually. String manipulation, what it does is, if you go inside, so what it does is it kind of supplements, it gives you, so it takes two data, video ID and key API. So it kind of constructs the standard API request and pass it on to the next particular node, right? So the request has key API as one of the variable and the video ID as another variable. So if you look at this, it is actually the same common thread. It's actually constructing this request, this one, right, with a valid API key and the video ID, right? So we will not worry much about it. So we will just run it. And what this is, the main node, what it does is it will send the request to the YouTube servers, Google services. Google will send back the data in a file format called as JSON. So the rest of the nodes all are for kind of converting the raw data in the form of a JSON file to a form that we can understand, right? So you don't have to worry about what it is. If you are interested, you can go and see what happens inside. So basically it kind of, so if you click on anything, you will see what is happening, right? So just try to figure out what is happening from there. So I'll ask you to come out of this, and then we have a string to document converter and a document viewer. So we have extracted about 20 comments posted against that particular video, right? Now you'll ask me, why 20, right? This is 20 some number. Definitely because if you remember, your API services has some quota and limits, right? You are using a free API service, which has some quota every day, and it will, for every request also there is some quota. You can understand more about this quota here. I have pasted a link here, so it will tell you what exactly is the quota, right? So there is supposed to be certain limits of, for a free account, how much you can access. So if you have a build account, so you can definitely access more data, right? So you can understand it. So why are we studying this then? Because if you are working in an organization, you will obviously have, if you are in requirement, if you are in need also, you may buy for it, right? If you are an organization which is into all this YouTube video extraction and all, you will probably buy, right? So this is a standard way of accessing, except that to access more data you need to pay, right? So that's it about this particular workflow. Yeah, we will also understand about the bigger workflow, which is the second workflow in the list. So basically it is, what it is doing, it is accessing all the three services, right? Search service, video service, and the common thread service. So this common thread service is just one arm of it, right? This arm is the common thread service, and this arm is actually the video uh, video service, where you extract some details about the video, right? So what I do here is we will go to that workflow. So what has happened here is you require two things, right? So your API is required. I think I have been using it, so it's there. So this is the API which we generated. Fresh API. I have two accounts, so yeah, I pasted it here. So let's say we want to look at IIM Mumbai. Yeah, so you have to, basically what it does is, the first search service, you search for this request. It will construct this request. One is your API key is required, and another one is the search word is required. Here it was Naeem, you are putting it as IIM Mumbai, and how many videos you want, 50 is being added, right? So when you search for this, whatever 50 videos that comes up, those video IDs will be extracted. That's the first service, right? Okay, and say apply. So what it does here is, you will get the video IDs of 50 as I told, but sometimes due to some error, sometimes less than 50 can appear. So it has extracted the video IDs. If you look at the table here, video IDs of about 45 rows, which is good enough. What it does is, now it passes on to the other arm, which is the YouTube extract comments, which is the common thread service, which is exactly what we have done. So we can run it. We're just seeing the upper arm of this thing only, right? So let it execute, and once it executes, you have a tick mark here, or otherwise you can go inside if it's not working. Yeah, something, it's still in the process. Yeah, it's done. So we can see the comments here. Yeah, so IIM Mumbai related comments are actually coming, right? Yeah. The second arm, what it does is, it takes the YouTube video IDs, right, and it goes for the video service, which is the second service. So it needs a API key and video ID, so it will get the other statistics, permission flags, total number of views, likes, etc. of the selected videos, right? So we will run it, and if you want to see what is inside, it's very similar to what we have seen. String manipulation, the get request node. Only thing is, string manipulation, you will be doing the this particular request will be slightly different. It will be the second standard request which you have seen here, this one, right? So that's what it is doing. It's a string manipulation node, right? You are constructing a string. So it is done. So we will be able to see the details from here, right? It's in a raw format, but we can get it. So so that's it about this particular workflow. I hope